faster and the less I have to cut out before the test. So you'll need 30 and 31. Yeah.
Why do you say hopefully on the 9? We will give you that one. Yeah, I did try it. I think you have
I'm like,
someone told you, right? Why? Someone told you why I say hopefully?
Well, how is that because you got so that's the answer to that. Exactly. Yeah.
if you don't get it done by the end of the time,
Oh, damn.
You're not here on Friday? No, you weren't. That's right.
Very good. Yes, it works very good. Okay, it seems like all of you have copied what you were going to copy. The first thing I'd like to do is make sure we got all of the criteria pollutants and secondary reactions and why we talked about oxidants being bad. All of that we covered. And second, I'd like to make sure that we talk about acid rain. Even though there's some stuff that I know is new, please look up. Did I already ask you to copy the 3 acid reactions? Yeah. Okay, something else that I'm not sure I said before is that carbonic acid is relatively weak, pH of 5.6, but nitric and sulfuric push down into the 4s or even the 3s, and that's a really big deal. So let's pick up there. the first mistake that students make is to exaggerate the harm of acids. I don't remember if I told you this before, but just in case, remember that you can drink this. This can fall on your skin. You can touch these acids. You can go swimming in an acidic lake. It'll be totally fine. The only place where acids might cause you trouble is if they affect the pH of your blood, or if they get into your lungs. Because technically your lungs have some real finicky chemistry. So heads up on that, getting the acids in your lungs. Unless you're breathing them in, you don't really have to worry too much. Another detail about acids is this: it's not just rain. Actually, nobody really calls it acid rain anymore. Acid rain is a concept from the 80s. Today, most scientists call it acid deposition, because please look over here. You get the most acid as a dry particulate dust. The oxides will ride on particulates and mix with water on land. So the really scary thing is the acidic dust, also snow and hail, and to a far lesser degree, rain. I need you guys to start thinking of acid deposition as being seasonal, gradual, and cumulative. You may want to write that down. Seasonal, gradual, and cumulative. Seasonal, gradual, and cumulative. It gets worse over time because it builds up. For example, when it snows, it's usually too cold for water to live on the surface of land. So when it snows, your acid deposition is frozen and it just builds up. Then in the spring, when all that stuff thaws, you can imagine the flood of acid in the streams and lakes. Oh, that's maybe
do you want me to reach out to like the
yeah.
So she says she has wraps, she has hot turkey and a sandwich, she has burritos. And she has another turkey sandwich. Oh, yes, that's something.
The hot one?
Yeah.
I'll get the hot sandwich and burritos. Here. So whatever you want to do. Yeah, how much did I owe, by the way?
I'm going to go back and change.
Oh, okay, cool. Right on. Thank you. All right. So the impact of this acidification, I have a list of 5. Probably the most ecologically significant is that your soil pH changes. And yes, plants care, but even more, the microbes in the soil care. Plants are affected by the acidic soil a little bit, but remember that the real magic of dirt is that soil ecosystem, that microbial activity, the decomposers and all those smaller predatory bugs and stuff. And microbes are very sensitive to pH. So soil acidification is mostly a problem for the microbes, not the plants. I mean, the plants sort of, but the microbes big time. And then without the microbes, then your plants die. Second on the list is like we talked about, the aquatic organisms breathing and breathing. You don't want to have your reproductive ingredients or your lungs/gills in acids, because that can be a big problem. Number three, because a lot of compounds dissolve in acids, acids free up whatever's occurring in your region. And a lot of heavy metals are pretty firmly bound in rock, but when you drop acids on the rocks, it puts the heavy metals into solution. Now let me be absolutely clear, not all compounds contain heavy metals, but heavy metals that are bound in a compound can be put back into solution by acid rain. So not all broken compounds are toxic, but if they do contain heavy metals and the acids split those, then you get more heavy metals in the water. That can be really serious. A long time ago, we used to think that the only source of heavy metals in surface water was from industrial pollution. So down here in the river, people go, a lot of heavy metals in the river. That must be that factory over there. And Danielle says, no, I don't use heavy metals, man. It's not me. And the scientists used to say, well, it can't happen naturally, so it must be the factory. And then we found out, oh, wait, never mind. It can happen naturally, might be. And so a lot of people were actually like, there was a lot of business interruption trying to figure out how the water pollution was happening. And we figured out later it was from acids breaking up rock that contained heavy metals. Number three, acids destroy many solids. Almost anything you use for a building is broken down by acids. So steel, concrete, paint, most types of rock, all falls apart from acids. Has anybody seen the David in Florence, Italy? He was inside? Yeah. He used to live outside, but the acids were eating his head. So we had to put him inside. You can get a photograph on the internet of the top of the David's head. 293909. You can get a photograph of the top of the David's head, and it looks like worms have been eating into it. It has like perfect little pits. Because watch, if you have like a little tiny crack in those beautiful curls that the David is known for, his nice, beautiful marble curls, those will hold rainfall. So acid rain will sit there and slowly fizz its way into the marble. Then the water evaporates, and it rains next time, and the acids fizz their way into his head until the water evaporates, and then it rains again. And so the acids are just slowly boring a hole the size of a water droplet down into the David's head. This is weakening bridges. Thank you. Later, bro. This is weakening bridges, high-rise buildings. Forgive my sloppy French pronunciation, the Arc de Triomphe. The Arch of Triumph, you may have seen it before. It's a large rectangular edifice with a circular arch on the inside. I believe it was made of serpentine, which is a really beautiful stone. I guess the big problem is that the mortar that holds it together was dissolving from acids. So the thing started to like crumple and fall in place, like it started to like implode on itself from all those acids eating their way through the mortar. So the bricks were coming loose and resettling. Yeah.
What's great is they have like a place on top for people to hang out on. They have like a bench on
Was that right?
the top of it.
Oh, I'll bet you that was part of the renovation, because a few years ago, students who went said, no, I couldn't see it. They had this